for coming. It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you here. It's to have you.
Thank you. I love the opening monologue.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Can you say anything on this, or do you have a time delay?
No.
At 78, Cher's life has taken a dark turn that nobody saw coming. Her son Elijah was rushed to the hospital in June 2025 after police found him acting strangely with drugs in his house. But that's just the beginning. Her shocking memoir revealed she lost her virginity at 14 as revenge and had a secret affair with her mother's best friend when he was 35. Now she's dating a man 40 years younger, and her own children have stopped speaking to her. The truth about what's really happening to the legend will leave you speechless. Cher was born on May 20th, 1946, in El Centro, California. Her mother, Georgia Holt, was just 20 years old and dreamed of becoming an actress. Her father, John Sarkisian, was an Armenian-American truck driver who battled gambling and drug problems. His parents had survived the Armenian genocide, and that dark history seemed to weigh on the family from the start. The marriage between Georgia and John didn't last. Within months, Georgia filed for divorce. Cher's earliest days were filled with chaos. Her father was mostly absent, and when he was around, he brought nothing but trouble. When Cher was just 10 months old, her father did something unthinkable. Without telling Georgia, he placed Cher in a Catholic orphanage. Georgia was heartbroken. She could only visit her baby once a week, and even then, she wasn't allowed to hold her. She could only look at Cher through a window. The nuns even tried to convince Georgia to give her baby up for adoption, but Georgia refused. She was determined to get her daughter back, no matter what it took. Life didn't get any easier after that. Georgia married again and again. In fact, she married 8 times to 6 different men. Some of the marriages lasted only a few months, others a few years. Each time meant a new home, a new school, and a new man in Cher's life. Sometimes they were poor. Sometimes they lived in big houses, even a mansion in Beverly Hills. But no matter where they were, Cher always felt like an outsider. The constant moving and changing left her feeling like she didn't belong anywhere. She learned to rely on herself, even as a child. Money was always tight. There were times when Cher had to hold her shoes together with rubber bands. They lived in cheap motels, barely scraping by. Georgia worked as a waitress while still chasing her acting dreams. Sometimes Georgia even thought about giving Cher up for adoption, hoping someone else could give her a better life. But she always found a way to keep going, and Cher watched, learning strength from her mother's struggles. One of Georgia's husbands, John Southall, became a big part of Cher's life for a while. Cher saw him as her real father. He was kind when he was sober, but everything changed when he drank. He turned into what Cher called a belligerent drunk. The house could feel safe one moment and scary the next. When Cher was 9, that marriage ended too, but the fear and tension stayed with her. It taught her how dangerous instability could be, and it made her even more determined to stand on her own. School was another battle. Cher had undiagnosed dyslexia, which made reading and writing a daily struggle. Back then, no one really understood what dyslexia was. Teachers thought she was lazy. She felt stupid compared to the other kids. She tried to get by memorizing everything, but it was exhausting. At 16 in 1962, she dropped out of school. She packed her things and headed to Los Angeles. She didn't have a diploma or connections, just a dream. Soon after arriving, Cher met Sonny Bono. She was 16. He was 27. They met at a coffee shop through a mutual friend. Sonny was already working in the music business. He liked Cher's deep voice and unique look. At first, he saw her more as a little sister, but this meeting changed both of their lives forever. Things were tough in Los Angeles. Cher didn't have money to pay rent, so her roommates kicked her out. She had nowhere to go. Sonny let her move in with him, but not as his girlfriend. She was his unpaid housekeeper and assistant. She cooked, she cleaned, she ran errands, and she learned. She watched how the music business worked. She soaked it all in. Sonny had big ideas for Cher. He pushed her to dress differently, to wear clothes that showed off her figure. He wanted her to stand out. He taught her how to move on stage, how to sing, how to capture an audience. His comments could be harsh. Once, he told her, "You don't have any shape at all." But Cher listened, and little by little, she started to believe in herself. In the summer of 1965, Sonny and Cher's lives changed forever. Their song, "I Got You Babe," didn't just become a hit. It exploded. Sonny wrote wrote it, and they recorded it at Gold Star Studios in Hollywood on June 7th. Just a few weeks later, it was out. The song spent 3 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It sold over 3 million copies in the US alone. Some say the worldwide number was closer to 4 million. That same year, it went gold. Suddenly, Sonny and Cher were everywhere. By September 1965, they had 5 singles in the top 40 at the same time. That kind of success was almost unheard of. Songs like Baby Don't Go, Just You, and Laugh at Me were climbing the charts. Their look became just as famous as their music. Cher's long, straight hair, Sonny's mustache. Crowds in the tens of thousands came to see them. The song even took them overseas. It hit #1 in the UK and Canada and made the top 10 across Europe and Australia. It all happened so fast. Cher later said it felt like being caught in a tornado. But behind the fame, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Their relationship started with a lie. In 1964, they faked a marriage to please the public. Cher was just 18. Sonny was 27. The age gap added to the buzz. People believed they were married. It made them look wholesome, but it was all for show. Later, they did marry for real. That's when things turned dark. Sonny took control of everything. He decided how Cher looked, what she sang, who she saw. Cher called it involuntary servitude. She couldn't make a single decision for herself. The worst part was hidden in their business deal. Cher didn't know the truth until years later. Their contract gave Sonny 95% of everything. Cher had no rights, no vote, no money. During their divorce, David Geffen read the contract and broke the news to her. Cher had been working for Sonny the whole time. She had nothing to her name. Cher's life with Sonny felt like a cage. She said she could only do what he wanted. She couldn't hang out with friends or bandmates. She needed permission for everything, even to see a movie or wear perfume. She wasn't allowed to play softball with her mom. Sonny dismissed her hobbies as dumb. He set up Cher Enterprises. It made him the boss. Cher was just a worker, and a poorly paid one at that. She couldn't touch her own money or even sign a check. She didn't know the contracts she signed locked her into this nightmare. The day she realized the truth hit her hard. She said it felt like a kick in the gut. After all her work, she had nothing. Sonny's betrayal went even deeper. Cher thought they shared their earnings like any married couple, but Sonny had made sure he controlled it all. He owned 95% of their business. The last 5% went to his lawyer. Cher got a salary when Sonny felt like paying her. As their fame faded in the late 1960s, the money troubles started. Sonny's bad choices forced them onto the supper club circuit. They sang in hotels and casinos just to get by. Cher didn't even know how to write a check. Sonny had kept her in the dark. She said she felt robbed, emotionally abused, and controlled for years. Only after their split in 1975 did she start learning basic money skills. David Geffen helped her take back control of her life. In 1969, Cher gave birth to their child, Chastity Bono. The joy didn't last. The pregnancy was hard. Doctors ordered Cher to stay in bed for months. After the birth, Cher nearly died from severe bleeding. She called it touch and go. What hurt most was that Sonny wasn't there. Cher didn't know where he had gone. She felt alone when she needed him most. When the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour first aired on August 1st, 1971, nobody expected it to change television. It was supposed to fill a gap in the summer schedule, but it became an instant sensation. Within weeks, millions were tuning in. CBS was so impressed that by December, the show had a permanent spot in prime time. Every week, it stayed in the Nielsen Top 20. People couldn't get enough of Cher's sharp humor and Sonny's clumsy charm. The show was packed with wild costumes by Bob Mackie, hit songs, and sketches that poked fun at famous people and politicians. Stars like the Jackson 5, Ronald Reagan, Farrah Fawcett, and Dick Clark all showed up. Off-camera, the show kept Sonny and Cher in the spotlight when their music career was fading. But while they made people laugh on screen, their marriage was quietly falling apart. The tension kept building, and by 1974, after their divorce, the show came to an end. At the same time, Cher was making music history. From 1971 to 1974, she scored 3 solo #1 hits in a row. In September 1971, she released Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. The song hit #1 in November, stayed there for 2 weeks, and even topped the charts in Canada. It reached #4 in the UK. The song's gritty story about a teenage Romani girl shocked some people and earned Cher a Grammy nomination. In 1973, she released Half Breed. It went straight to #1 in the US and took on the taboo topic of mixed race identity. Then came Dark Lady in December 1973, a song about murder and betrayal that also hit #1. No other female artist had ever scored 3 #1 singles so quickly. And she did it all while starring on one of the biggest shows on TV. It was a level of fame and hard work that you could match. In October 1972, Cher reached her limit. After long nights performing at the Sahara Hotel and taping their show, she felt trapped. She asked Sonny for a break in Europe. He laughed it off and reminded her she was his moneymaker. That moment changed everything. Cher realized she didn't have to end her life to end her pain. She could leave him, but leaving wasn't easy. She was just 26 and had never lived without Sonny's control. He handled all the money. She couldn't even sign her own checks. He told her who she could see, what she could wear, and even if she could wear perfume. To keep the peace, they made a strange deal. She stayed with him during the week for the show, but lived on her own on weekends. It was the first step toward freedom, and it set the stage for her becoming the powerful figure the world knows today. By Christmas 1973, Cher found support in someone new. She met music mogul David Geffen at the Roxy, and they fell for each other fast. Cher opened up about how Sonny had trapped her. Geffen soon found out Sonny had changed Cher's contracts, so she owned nothing, not even her own work. With Geffen's help, she fought back. He helped her break those unfair contracts. He gave her the confidence and power to take control. Their romance became public at the 1974 Grammys, shocking everyone. Geffen even proposed and spoiled Cher with gifts. Thanks to him, she signed a $2.5 million deal with Warner Brothers. It was a turning point. Sonny was furious, but Cher was finally free. In February 1974, Sonny made it official. He filed for separation, saying they had irreconcilable differences. The truth was uglier. Cher hit back with a lawsuit, accusing him of forced labor. She said he'd stolen her earnings and controlled her every move. The couple kept filming their show, pretending everything was fine, while fighting bitterly behind the scenes. The divorce became a media storm. Sonny tried to ruin her career. He warned the public would hate her. They even battled over custody of their child, Chastity. In the end, Cher won custody. Their marriage officially ended on June 26, 1975. The court fight had cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars and shattered their partnership. Cher's life has always been a mix of glitter, heartbreak, and wild twists. When she married Greg Allman on June 30th, 1975, just 4 days after divorcing Sonny Bono, the world was shocked. The wedding happened fast in Las Vegas. It was over in minutes. Only 2 friends were there. There was no honeymoon, no big celebration, just a sudden leap that felt like it came out of nowhere. But this leap landed Cher in a storm she didn't see coming. Greg Allman, the rock star from the Allman Brothers Band, was battling heroin and alcohol from the start. Cher realized almost immediately that she had stepped into chaos. Their marriage turned into a headline-grabbing roller coaster with public breakups, makeups, and endless drama. It took only 9 days for Cher to file for divorce. She had found a bag of white powder in Greg's things and heard whispers that he was planning to leave her. A nightmare honeymoon in Jamaica made things worse. Greg, desperate for drugs, even pulled a knife on her so he could sneak out. The media feasted on the story. But then, in a surprising turn, Greg checked into rehab. Cher stopped the divorce. A month later, they were back together. Their son, Elijah Blue, was born in 1976. They even recorded an album, To the Hard Way, under the name Allman and Woman. It flopped. Rolling Stone called it worthless. The marriage dragged on until 1979, leaving scars of addiction and heartbreak. Cher's love life after Allman kept the tabloids busy. She dated Gene Simmons from 1977 to 1980. She said she was crazy about him. Record mogul David Geffen helped keep her steady during this time. Then came Val Kilmer from 1982 to 1984. Cher said their kisses felt so intense it was like her head would fly off. Tom Cruise followed. They met at Sean Penn and Madonna's wedding in 1985. Cher later said Cruise was in her top 5 lovers. There was more. Eric Stoltz, hockey player Ron Duguay. Every romance became gossip gold, but Cher didn't hide. She spoke openly, sometimes with humor, about it all. One of her most talked about loves was Rob Camilletti. They met in 1986. Cher was 40, Rob just 22. He worked at a bagel shop. The press nicknamed him Bagel Boy and mocked their age gap. Rob appeared in her music videos. He was by her side at the 1988 Oscars when she won Best Actress for Moonstruck, but the media wouldn't leave them alone. In 1989, Rob smashed the cameras of photographers camped outside their home. He got arrested, but Cher paid his $2,000 bail and defended him. She even called him possibly the one true love of my life. The pressure was too much. They broke up later that year. Cher's acting breakthrough came with Silkwood in 1983. She played Dolly Pellicker, a working-class woman caught up in a real-life whistleblower's tragic story. The role earned her an Oscar nomination and a Golden Globe win. The film itself earned 5 Oscar nominations at the 1984 ceremony. The Silkwood estate won $10 million in damages, later settled at $1.3 million, the largest of its kind then. Cher had proven she wasn't just a singer trying to act. She was the real deal. Then came Moonstruck in 1987, the movie that sealed her place in film history. Cher played Loretta Castorini, a Brooklyn widow who finds love again. The movie made over $91 million at the 1988 Oscars. It won Best Actress for Cher, Best Supporting Actress for Olympia Dukakis, and Best Original Screenplay. Cher, in her daring black dress, gave a speech that everyone remembers. Critics stopped doubting her. She was no longer just a pop star. She was an Oscar-winning actress. Her performance in Mask in 1985 showed her emotional depth. She played the mother of a boy with a rare skull disorder. Behind the scenes, it was a mess. The director, Peter Bogdanovich, fought with Universal. They cut 8 minutes from the film and swapped Bruce Springsteen's songs for Bob Seger's. Cher clashed with Bogdanovich too. Still, her raw performance won Best Actress at Cannes and got her another Golden Globe nomination. The battles over the film became as famous as the film itself. In 1989, Cher rocked MTV and the U.S. Navy with her If I Could Turn Back Time video. She performed on the USS Missouri in a leather outfit that left little to the imagination. The Navy hadn't expected that. The video was so bold that MTV banned it before 9 p.m. The Navy was embarrassed. Cher's act changed Navy policy. No more music videos on ships, but the song was a huge hit. Once again, Cher showed she could shake things up and come out on top. In October 1998, something happened that no one saw coming. Cher, at age 52, released her 22nd album, Believe. People expected another good album from a music legend. What they got was a revolution. The title song, Believe, changed pop music forever. For the first time, auto-tune was used not to quietly fix a note, but to create a bold, robotic, warbling sound. The producers, Mark Taylor and Brian Rawling, pushed the tool beyond anything it was designed for. This new sound was so strange and fresh that people started calling it the Cher effect. At first, they even tried to hide what they had done. They told reporters the sound came from a vocoder, but the secret didn't last long. The music world split in two. Some were thrilled, others were angry that a studio trick had been exposed, but within a year, everyone was trying auto-tune. Artists like T-Pain later built entire careers on it. Pop and dance music would never be the same. Believe didn't just change how music sounded, it took over the charts. In the UK, it went straight to #1. It stayed there for 7 weeks. Almost 1.79 million copies were sold in Britain alone. No other female artist has ever beaten that record in the UK. Around the world, the song was #1 in 23 countries. It sold more than 11 million copies. In the United States, it became Cher's 5th song to hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It ended up as the #1 song of 1999. What made this even more shocking was Cher's age. She became the oldest woman ever to top the Billboard Hot 100. Believe won her a Grammy, a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records, and a place on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. This was no ordinary comeback. It was history. Cher didn't stop with the recording studio. From 2008 to 2011, she ruled Las Vegas. She performed 192 shows at Caesars Palace. Nearly 700,000 fans came to see her. The shows earned over $97 million. Cher herself was paid $60 million for the run. The production was massive. More than 100 staff worked behind the scenes. There were 14 dancers, 4 aerialists, and 17 costumes designed by Bob Mackie. Every night, she combined fashion, technology, and pure spectacle. At her peak, she was earning $60 million a year. Even in her 60s, Cher proved she could match or outdo modern pop stars. Behind all this glitter, Cher faced personal struggles. She was a mother to 2 sons, Chaz and Elijah. Fame and motherhood clashed. She loved her children deeply, but often felt torn. Chaz once told her during a school trip, "I'm so pissed off, Mom. You can never not be Cher." Both sons had battles of their own. Chaz wrestled with his identity before coming out as a lesbian, and later transitioning to male. Elijah struggled with addiction and rocky relationships. Cher did her best. She worked hard, but but she often wished she could have given her sons a calmer, steadier life. Still, she remains proud of their strength. In December 2023, things reached a breaking point. Cher asked the court for control over Elijah's finances. She feared he would waste his money on drugs and put himself in danger. She believed his wife, Mary Angela King, wasn't fit to help him either. The legal fight lasted 9 long months. At first, the court said no. Elijah had shown he could stay sober and handle his money. Slowly, Cher and Elijah began to work things out privately. In September 2024, Cher dropped the case. Both mother and son said they wanted to heal their family, but trouble returned in June 2025. Police found Elijah acting strangely at his home. He was 48. There were drugs in the house. He was rushed to the hospital. Some feared it was another overdose, though no cause was confirmed at first. His wife said Elijah was still fighting to stay sober and face his demons. It was a sad reminder of how hard life can be for the children of stars, no matter how much love or fame surrounds them. When Cher released Cher, the memoir, Part 1, it wasn't just another celebrity book. It exploded onto the scene. It shot straight to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Over 150,000 copies flew off shelves in the first week alone. Cher, at 60 years in show business, proved she still had the world's attention. The book outsold younger pop stars and famous authors. But it wasn't just the numbers that made headlines. It was the brutal honesty. Cher shared parts of her life she'd kept secret for decades. Fans and critics couldn't get enough. The book became one of the most talked about memoirs in years. One of the most shocking stories Cher revealed was how she lost her virginity at just 14. She didn't dress it up as romance. She called it what it was: revenge. The boy had humiliated her in front of friends. In 1960, talking about something like that was unthinkable, but Cher told it all. She explained how it wasn't about love, but about trying to take back control. Readers were stunned. The confession started tough conversations about consent, teenage pain, and what girls went through then, and still go through now. Another bombshell was her year-long secret affair at 14 with her mother's best friend. He was 35. She described him as a blonde Tom Selleck. The relationship started in 1960. It stayed hidden from her mother. Cher talked about the guilt, confusion, and loneliness she felt. Readers were gripped by the betrayal. Her mother's friend had taken advantage of her. The story left people debating predatory behavior and the scars it leaves. Cher's bravery in sharing it forced many to face ugly truths. Cher didn't stop there. She opened up about her painful marriage to Sonny Bono. She told how she caught him cheating with his secretary. One night, she woke to hear whispers and rustling. 2 figures stood in the dim light. It was a moment that broke her heart. It wasn't just one affair. Cher shared how Sonny had cheated many times. Behind the happy public image was a woman trapped and betrayed. The details were so raw that readers felt her heartbreak. It shattered the myth of their perfect partnership. Now, Cher isn't slowing down. Part 2 of her memoir is set to drop on November 18th, 2025. It's 480 pages of more stories. Cher admitted she struggled to include some painful truths, but she says they need to be told. She's promised fans she'll go back and add them. Even after 70 years in the spotlight, she's still ready to shock us. Cher is also working on a film with Francis Ford Coppola. They've talked about reviving a project from 20 years ago. Their past together includes wild moments, like a party with Salvador Dali, where a rubber fish got mistaken for a toy. Cher's return to the screen at 78 shows her passion hasn't faded. In music, Cher is working on what could be her last album. She's keeping it secret, with security to stop leaks. She's hinted it's deeply personal. At least 8 songs are done. Fans are waiting to hear what could be the final chapter of her legendary music career. Cher's love life has kept people talking too. Her relationship with Alexander A.E. Edwards, 39, has made headlines. They met at Paris Fashion Week in 2022. Their 40-year age gap shocked many. Her kids, Chaz and Elijah, even stopped speaking to her at times. They worried he was after her money. When Edwards was seen mingling with models at Coachella 2025, rumors swirled. But Cher says they're happy. She admits the relationship has its challenges, but she said that even if it lasted just a year, it's been worth it. She's had fun and laughter. Cher is also planning a final world tour. It starts May 26, 2025 in Fresno and ends October 14th in Vancouver. 30 shows, 25 cities. Legends like Cyndi Lauper and Dionne Warwick will join her. Cher admitted touring tires her out. At 78, this could really be the last chance fans get to see her her life. Her 2002-2005 farewell tour earned over $250 million. This one will be just as huge. It's a goodbye to an era. Cher's fortune is as big as her fame. She's worth around $360 million. One of her Malibu mansions was listed at $85 million. It had 7 bedrooms, a wig room, and a meditation space. She's made smart choices: art, jewelry, crypto, tight contracts. She keeps control of her image and music. She's generous too. She's given millions to AIDS research, animal rescue, and disaster aid. Once, she raised $3 million for charity in one night by auctioning off her memorabilia, but she protects her wealth fiercely. Some say she delayed marrying Edwards because of worries he might threaten her fortune. The stakes are high. Cher knows it, and she's not taking chances.